To understand this realm, you must understand the devil, the one who goes against authority, even if they have a lot to lose. Try to understand that person. That person that's willing to lose everything for the truth. Try to understand that person. The person that's misunderstood. Try to understand that person. You see that person that everyone does not understand. Try to understand them. Try to understand the black sheep of the family. Try to understand that person that the whole world hates. Try to understand that person. Try to understand villains in movies. Some of my favorite villains are in anime. They have the best villains. I like the fact that the villains in anime movies are, they're very right, but they're so misunderstood. Like, they actually stand for the truth, but they're so misunderstood. Try to understand these villains. You know what I'm saying? Try to understand Thanos. Try to understand Tai Long. Try to understand Ultron. Read your Bible. Try to understand the devil. I'm not saying what's written in the Bible is true, but our conclusion about the Bible, about the stories in the Bible, says a lot about us. I remember I gave you all this example the other day. Like, there's this Bible scripture that I've read about some dude who was like the servant of God. So this dude, some kids laughed at him because he has a big head. So these kids laughed at the dude. And God was like, nope, you can't laugh at my servant like that. No damn way. So he sent bears to, kill them. All of them. That may seem right if you don't realize that everything is upside down. That may seem right. Like, oh yeah, God punished them. They laughed at his servant, so he punished them. I mean, it's God. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you laugh at the servant of God? No. Actually, he was out of line. He was so out of line. He's failing to understand that people grow. I remember when I was still young, I'll go to Sunday school. There was this guy. His head was kind of like weird. He's not bad looking, but his head, and would laugh about it. I remember me and my friends would laugh at him. Like, we just found it funny. We're still young. But as I grew older, I understood what I did wrong. Now me and him are really like, whenever he sees me, like, he will want to like start a never ending conversation with me. Like, you know what I'm saying? I could be, I could be going somewhere and he could say that, okay, this guy is actually in a hurry, but then he will stop me and he will just start talking for like 30 minutes. I'll be like, dang, I need to find a way to end this conversation because what I'm saying? Have you ever met a person who just talks forever? You know what I'm saying? Like, when you see them in the street, you're like, damn, man, I wish I used another street because this guy is just gonna talk. You know what I'm saying? But as I grew older, I never forgot. And I was still young. I think maybe I was 8. I never forgot. Like, I laughed at this guy, but I was still young. So God didn't even give these kids a chance to redeem themselves. You know what I'm saying? To grow. This reminds me of XXXTentacion, right? XXXTentacion, I think he died when he was... How old was X when he died? 19 or 20? He's very young. And people blame him for the bad things that he's done. But I'm like, How many people have done a lot of bad things when they were, you look at someone like Snoop, right? He changed, he when he grew up, he was that guy. I mean, betrayed his people, but you can tell that he changed a lot. Like, he's no longer living the kind, you know what I'm saying? Like, people can change. You could tell that X was trying to change, but he never got a chance to redeem himself, to actually become a better person, to ask for forgiveness. You get what I'm saying? So God didn't give these kids a chance, and I don't know if he was trying to make an example out of them. You know what I'm saying? And he took someone's side, which is weird. You know what I'm saying? And you can tell that was messed up. The story of Job. If humans did the horrible things that God does, they will be considered to be psychos. The real problem is that everything is upside down. And when you read the real Bible and you are able to tell who the bad guy is, and you realize that the other guy is not perfect, he's broken, he was, you know what I'm saying, he's also a victim in some way, then you start to understand him. The reason why understanding the devil is very important is because most of us, when we rebel, we are treated the same way that the devil was treated. Do you get what I'm saying? Most of us, when we rebel, it doesn't matter how right we are treated the same way the devil was treated. You see, we are controlled by a system that is so damn powerful that if you do anything that goes against it, it can punish you in many different ways. You can choose whatever way it's going to, use to punish you. There are many ways that, this system can actually punish you. Let's say you speak the truth. It can program people to think that people who speak like you, they're suffering from mental illness, or they're depressed, or they're unhappy, they're sad, they're negative, all of that. It will make people fail to acknowledge that what you're saying is actually true, right? I remember I watched this other video last year, just that I can't find it on YouTube anymore. So they were debating the legalization of assisted dying. So they were saying, I remember the lady that was for she was the one that was agreeing that she feels that assisted dying must actually be legal. She's like, she was responding to the other lady. The other lady was saying that a person who people end up wanting to be assisted to die because they're suffering from depression, right? They're suffering from depression, and a person who's suffering from depression cannot be trusted. And I was like, that's gaslighting. You're going to judge the state of a person like, well, because you're depressed, you can't be right. So how do you even determine what the right state is for a person to actually be right? So the lady said, she's actually mad that people want to undermine those who suffer from mental illnesses. Be like, you're not right because you suffer from mental illness, no matter how right the person is. So this is what the system does. If you're right, be like, you just said you're just unhappy, you're just anxious, you're just afraid, it's like, listen, forget that. Maybe I'm afraid, maybe I'm scared, maybe I'm depressed, maybe I'm anxious, but listen to what I'm saying. Does it not make sense? You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm mad, it's fine. Maybe I'm poor, it's fine, but what I'm saying, does it not make sense? Stop judging me. Because I can also judge you. I can say that maybe you're too happy. Maybe you're too ignorant. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you have never really seen life for what it is. Because you can be too happy. You can't be too privileged. So this world will gaslight you if you are speaking the truth, because the system that controls everything, it uses uh you know gaslight as like the method to make those who speak the truth seem like they're not right. There's a reason why the Bible gaslight people. You know, you could tell that even someone like maybe the most hated man in the Bible is Judas, right? You can tell that he was also a victim because it was predetermined that he's gonna betray Jesus. You know what I'm saying? It was predetermined. He did exactly what God wanted him to do, which is to betray Jesus so that Jesus can be crucified for our sins. But again, that's emotional blackmail. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, some dude died for my sins. Now I must follow him. It's like, no, I don't know, man. I didn't even sin before I was born. It's ridiculous when you think about it. You're like, actually, Christians should just not have babies because all their babies are sinners. You know what I'm saying? So if I know that I'm gonna produce a sinner, why produce them? You just be like, God, actually, since everyone who's born is a sinner, the best way to save them is to make sure that I don't bring them here. Isn't that simple? Isn't that obvious? But now you're brought here and you're considered a sinner, and even if you've not done anything wrong, you didn't beat Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Understanding the devil is really important because you will actually understand that everything is upside down. The one who's misunderstood is the one who's actually right. The one that everyone hates is actually the one who's right. That is why people hate the devil. It's not because the devil is wrong, it's because he's right. Because the thing is, everything is upside down. Let's think about it. What has the devil actually done that is so damn horrible? He just rebelled against someone with a big ego who felt like he should control everything. And dude was like, no, maybe you're wrong about this. There's a reason why some angels, agreed with the devil. So if you are able to see that between God and the devil, the one who was actually right was the devil. Not saying dude was perfect, I'm saying the one who was right was the devil. Until you're able to see that, you'll never understand what is really wrong with this realm. You'll just be blamed for things that you didn't even cause. There are a lot of people who are in jail, not because they're bad people, not because they've done the most horrible things. They were just victims. You find that those who are really responsible are not even suffering. Those who are really powerful are not even suffering. But those who are victims, they're the ones who are suffering. Those who just had to find a way to make a living are suffering. Remember, there's this other lady that I used to buy food from when I was still staying in town in Johannesburg. This other day, the cops were cleaning the streets, right? So the found her, took her stuff, put her in the back of the van, and I was watching. After I bought something from her, I forgot what I bought, and I was like, the way that the system is treating people is the same way that God will treat people. It's like it's your fault that you're in the street and you're selling stuff. Like, what are you supposed to do to make a living? You know what I'm saying? Like, there are no jobs. Because God doesn't really help people. He allows people to become broken and they become desperate and they end up sinning, and then he says, you're going to hell. or you should be punished for sinning, without realizing that they are broken. It's the same way that the system treats people. If you don't see that the one who was actually writing the Bible was the devil, you never see how evil those who are running the world are. You'll always worship authority. You'll never see things for what they are. You will always root for the bad guy, thinking that he is the good guy. You will always be manipulated. You will always love those who wear nice suits, those who have charisma, those who know how to speak, even if they're saying nothing. These are the people that you love, and you're going to side with them. Those who know how to sell, those who know how to manipulate, those are the people that you love. You will never be able to see the truth, and that is the real problem. You see, the real problem is that you were never able to see that the devil was the good guy in the Bible. If you can't see that, you will never be able to see what is right and what is wrong in this realm. You'll never be able to understand free will. You will never be able to understand Gnosticism. You'll never be able to understand why there is suffering in this world. You'll never be able to understand why a lot of people are in pain, why a lot of people are not okay. You just say something like, yeah, you just need to become a Muslim, or you just need to seek Jesus, or you just need to believe in this new age spirituality, you know, the whole reincarnation thing, like you chose to be here, so you're going to come back and learn your lessons and all of that. That will be the reason why you believe that, because you never understand that this is a hell realm. Like, it was never meant to be a good place, right? So you be telling people that, yeah, you know, yeah, you chose your parents. No matter how they treated you, you know, you chose them because you wanted to learn some lesson from them. Like, what kind of trap is that? Learning something doesn't need to be hard. You don't need to be tortured to learn something. Think about it. You have eternity to learn. So why not learn while having fun? Do you get what I'm saying? You have, like, there's no rush. You don't have to learn everything all at once. Like, what? So you mean to tell me that the nonsense that you've went through, it was because you were supposed to learn? You are 40 now. You're still suffering. Is it? Some people might say, "Oh, it's because you've never learned your lessons." No, it's not because of that. It's because how many lessons are you even supposed to be learning? You know, and do you have to learn through suffering? Oh, it's much easier to learn the lessons that you need to learn, especially if you are being told what lessons you're supposed to be learning in the first place. As a human, you are very easy to teach. You see, if everything is a mystery and you don't know what you're doing and you just kind of like freestyling through life, how can you really learn anything? Because you don't even know what you're supposed to be learning, what you're supposed to be doing, what the purpose of life is. So you are actually a victim, and you don't even see it that way because you already told yourself that you are in a good place. So even if you're being tortured for the right reason, right? If you still don't understand Gnosticism, you still don't understand people who are saying this realm was not created for a good reason, you have a long way to go. Like, you have a long way to go. Like, a long, long way to go. This is not about being mad at the world. This is not about being depressed. This is not about being sad. You know, this is not, you know, about being negative and giving up and all of that. It's about the truth. It's about what actually makes sense when you look at the way that things actually work. Everything is upside down. If you really want to understand the world, realize this. Now realize that everything is upside down. Things are not what they seem. Try to be as honest as possible with yourself about things. Try to understand yourself. Try to understand why you do the things that you do. Try to understand other people. Try to understand what drives other people. You know, try to understand why Jay-Z is with Beyonce. Why Beyonce chose Jay. Try to understand that. Try to understand why you couldn't get a woman like Beyonce. Try to understand that. Try to understand why some people are rich and why they remain rich. Try to understand it. Try to understand why some people are poor. Try to understand why some people are failing in life. Try to understand why there are people who are homeless. Try to understand why some people are going to messed up schools, why some people are going to like the best schools where they have everything. They have computers, cell phones, everything they need. Their classes are clean. They have good chairs. They have the best teachers, and some people are attending in public schools where nothing is actually going well. I was having a conversation with someone about how crazy it is that someone who supports the ANC government in South Africa, or someone who's a politician but who supports the ANC government, will send their kids to a private school. I mean, doesn't that prove that they are not doing what they're supposed to be doing? Because if I'm working for government and I want to be trusted and I'm doing the right thing, then my kid should also attend public school. Why are they attending private school? Where I'm paying like 50,000 a year, 100,000 a year. It means I know that the system is failing. That's hypocrisy at its highest level. So try to understand why some people are going to messed up schools and they're not getting the education that they need. I went to like messed up schools when I was growing up, and I can tell you there isn't much. Like if I told you that I even taught at a public school, primary school, there was this teacher that came with her kid. I just met them actually when I was at home. The kid is grown now. The kid was in grade 5. So I remember the teacher brought that kid to my class, and she wanted to prove how far ahead the kid is, and it was almost as if she was blaming the kids themselves. It's like, oh, look at this kid. This kid is 2 classes behind you, and you can't like she knows a lot more than you could ever know, maybe, right? Without realizing that, well, the kids were not being taught anything. They come from poor families. Their parents are poor. They're uneducated. Like, what do you expect? If you don't understand that the devil was right, you'll never understand what I just told you. You will just blame. You'll be the kind of person who blame people for failing without understanding why they failed. You see? You'll be the kind of person who blames black people. For an example, if you, for example, like, black people who grew up in the projects for being the way that they are. Because you don't understand how bad the system is. But like, well, why don't they just quit what they're doing and do this and do that? Like, you don't understand that the system works against them, especially the ones who are trying to better themselves. You know what I'm saying? No, that kid that's trying to wake up in the morning and go to school and study, that kid is going to be mistreated. That kid is going to be bullied. You don't understand that. You're just looking at everything from afar. You don't understand that they didn't have the privilege that she had. You don't understand that they were not safe. You don't understand what they've seen in their lives, what traumatized them. To understand what is really going on, you must understand the devil. You must understand the one who is misunderstood. You must actually be able to see who the real victim is. That is you evolving. I remember I told you guys that when we were growing up, we watched movies like Kung Fu Panda, And we will look at someone like Master Iwe as the good guy. As would look at Chifu as a good guy. We'll look at Paul as the good guy. I'm not saying he's the bad guy, but he's kind of like too privileged. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have to work to become what he became. And so there's a lot that he doesn't understand, right? He's just given power that he doesn't fully understand, and he's just told that he needs to fight evil, but he never tries to understand the background of the people that he's fighting. You get what I'm saying? So you watch movies like Kung Fu Panda and you start to understand Tai Lung. But when we were young, we didn't understand Tai Lung. I didn't like Tai Lung when I was a kid. I liked the panda. I like Master Igwe. I like Chifu. I like the Furious Five. I think that's what they call them. I like all of them. But as I got older, I started to understand why he was the way that he was. I started to understand his pain. You see, so that's the evolution I'm talking about here. You know, the one who's misunderstood, if you try to understand them, you try to understand their pain and why they became what they became, it will be much easier for you to understand the kind of realm that we're in. You see? There's this movie that not a movie, it's a TV series. What is it called? It's called Sinners. Is it called Sinners? Yeah, I think it's called Sinners. I like that TV series. It's about this detective who is trying to solve like serious cases, right? What I like about this detective is that he will try to understand the things from the perspective of the perpetrator. Like he will form a relationship with the perpetrator, you know, try to understand why the perpetrator did what they did. I remember season 1, I think season 1 is like everyone's favorite. My favorite is season 3. So season 1, this girl, they were at a beach, and this girl took like a knife and she stabbed this other guy. Simple, she must get arrested because she stabbed. But he tried to study her background, what happened, what really happened to trigger that. And he found out that she was abused, and the way that she stabbed the guy is the way that, like, she was kidnapped, actually put in a place where it's just, I don't really remember everything that happened, but then now he's starting to understand where she's coming from, right? Not that what she did was right, but he understood. Like, that's the thing. It's about understanding at the end of the day. It's not even about siding with someone who has done something wrong. It's about understanding, because if you understand why they did what they did, you will be able to prevent it. Do you get what I'm saying? If you want to prevent school shootings, for an example, you have to understand what causes kids to be school shooters. Does a kid wake up and be like, you know what, I just want to be a school shooter? Is that how it happens? Or these kids, they are mistreated. They are laughed at by everyone, you know? No one loves them. No one wants to talk to them. They just want to laugh at them. You know, the kid is walking in the hallway and someone hit them with something and everyone laughs, you know, they turn back and be like, oh, what happened? And no one even, you know, takes their side. They just laugh. Like, you find that we are behaving like animals towards that kid. We are fueling that kid's anger. And then one day when he's snapped, we say that kid was a monster all along. But if we treated that kid well, if we accepted that kid, like, yo, kid, no matter how different you are, you still accept it. You know what I'm saying? No matter how different you are, you're protected. You're not going to be bullied. We're not going to make your life miserable. Is it? So if you understand that, you understand what's causing these kids to do that, you will stop it. Even teachers will work hard to stop bullying. They will see when the kid is quiet because this kid is being bullied and try to help the kid, try to talk to the parents, try to talk to other kids. Discipline the other kids for bullying. Like, there must be, bro, bullying, if you understood what bullying does to a person, you understand why kids who bully other kids should actually be punished for real. If it means suspension, they should be suspended, even for a month, just for bullying another kid. But no, we never understand that. And then these kids grow up to be villains and we blame them without understanding what caused them to be villains. Maybe they had good hearts in the beginning. Maybe they were loving in the beginning. But they changed because the world wasn't kind to them. You see, to understand this realm, you must understand the devil's side of the story. You must understand Gnosticism. Read some Gnostic books, you know? What I like about Gnostic books is that I used to think like a Gnostic even before I read the books. Before I even discovered that there was these books, you know? I used to think like a Gnostic. I always had a feeling that no, not maybe always, but there was a part of me that kind of felt like no, God doesn't seem like he's right, right. It kind of seemed like he's actually the bad guy here, but we're told that he's not. So we worship him. But what if he is? What if he's not right? What if he doesn't have our best interest at heart? What if he's never on our side? What if he's selfish? What if he doesn't really care about us? What if he only cares about himself? What if he only cares about being worshipped? To understand this realm, try to understand the devil. Try to understand, that guy who didn't make it. Try to understand him. The guy that's living in the street who tried everything, who didn't make it. Try to understand him. Try to understand the guy who didn't do well at school, but who was trying. Try to understand him. Try to understand the guy who didn't get a job. Try to understand him. Try to understand that celebrity that didn't win the award that they've worked very hard for. Try to understand that celebrity without saying, oh, you're just angry, you're just this and that. Try to understand. Try to understand the one who complains. Try to understand the one who seems like they are a hater. They are a hater. You know what I'm saying? Try to understand them. Pay attention to what they're saying. Put your emotions aside. Try to understand them. Try to understand the one who seems jealous. Try to understand them too. You will be able to see that the real problem is this realm. Right? The real problem is this realm that we've found ourselves in. You understand that we've all been crucified. You'll understand that we are all suffering and we are all victims, and if there was a way to actually set ourselves free, we would, and that's what we're trying to do. Every person who's here, no matter what they believe, no matter what they're trying to do, they're actually trying to free themselves because they're tired of suffering. No one wants to suffer. Everyone wants to be free from suffering. So the real problem is this realm, because suffering is not a bug. Suffering is a future. Some people might gaslight you and tell you that if there was no suffering, this world would be boring and all of that. It wouldn't be. We're not saying there must not be challenges. Human beings love challenges. There's suffering, there's challenges. There's a difference, right? There's suffering, there's challenges. I told you guys that I love snooker. I like playing against guys that are really good. I don't feel like I'm suffering if I lose against them, because I put myself, I challenge myself. I'm like, I gotta become better, right? So even when I'm losing, I'm like, yeah, I'm becoming better. I am learning. I'm literally becoming better, and that's the point. You get what I'm saying? I'm not suffering because I lose. I could go and play snooker and lose like 3 games in a row, 4 games in a row, or lose all the games that I play. And I'll be like, I'm not suffering, right? But let's say I was trying to play snooker and no one allowed me to play snooker. Like, no, you're not allowed to play snooker. Yeah, we don't want you here. That is suffering. You understand? The world is full of suffering, and it is not necessary. We're talking about unnecessary suffering, and the messed up thing is that there is no such thing as cosmic justice. So people tend to believe in religions because they feel like there should be some form of justice. But like, damn, man, I've been through a lot. Like, God gotta, what I'm saying, God gotta do something here. So you feel better because you think God is gonna punish the ones who mistreated you. I remember I saw a post on Facebook. This guy, like, he posted a picture of this beautiful girl in a nice car, and he was like, "Yeah, that's the girl that actually. This girl actually left her poor boyfriend for a rich boyfriend. She's very happy. Nothing bad has happened to her. Life is not a Nigerian movie." There is no cosmic justice. Just because some chick left you while you had nothing, while you needed her the most, doesn't mean she's gonna suffer. You know what I'm saying? Just because someone bullied you and because of how they treated you, you became very anxious and started living in fear, and because of that you failed miserably in life. That doesn't mean that that person is going to suffer. You might meet that person driving a nice car while you have nothing, while you're still walking, and they greet you like nothing happened, and you're like, dude, I remember how you treated me, and you find that everyone loves them. No one loves you. You find that you've suffered your whole life. There is no such thing as cosmic justice. That is why I say you must try to understand the one who didn't make it. Like, this time around, stop focusing on those who made it. Stop focusing on those who are lucky. Try to understand those who are not lucky, those who are not loved, those who are broken, those who are alone. Try to understand them. You know what I'm saying? Don't try this time around, forget about the winners. This time around, focus on the losers. Try to understand the losers. You will be able to understand this realm. You will be able to understand that everything is upside down. You'll be able to understand that everything is rigged. Like, it's not really up to the people themselves. You'll be able to understand that people don't even have free will. They just suffer, based on their circumstances, their genes, their surrounding, all of that. Everything counts. You'll be able to understand it. And that level of understanding will make you realize that you were just in a hell room. That is the real problem. The real problem is that you are in a hell room. Yes, we must try our best to make things better for ourselves and others, but understand that we are in a hell room. People are trying, people are trying. If we all acted the way that nature programmed us to act, things would be much worse. So people are trying, Sometimes people piss you off and you're like, I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm mad, but I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm going to be the bigger person. People try. People sometimes they want to take what doesn't belong to them, but they be like, no, let me not do it. Try to understand the devil's side of the story. If you are too quick to blame, if someone does something that's wrong, you just blame them. You'll never understand this world. Right? Someone did something wrong, and the first thing you do is blame them. Try to see things from their perspective. But sometimes I look at the Bible as a test. Will you be able to see what's right and what's wrong if you are being told that what's right, what is actually right is what is actually wrong, and what is actually wrong is what is actually right? You're this conscious being in a world where everything is upside down. Will you be able to say that everything is upside down? So I kind of look at it as a test sometimes. Will you be able to see that everything is upside down? Because if you're going to be able to see that everything is upside down, then you won't be very easy to deceive. But if you still believe in hell, like, yeah, I deserve to go to heaven and you deserve to go to hell because you didn't listen to God, you still have a long way to go. The real truth is, I like, if you watch the movie The Book of Clarence, I like what he said when he was on the cross. He said, we need enlightenment, not punishment. That's the real truth. The real truth is we don't need punishment. We don't need to be punishing people. Even for the wrong things that they do, we need to realize that we are in a hell realm and people are messed up. Us punishing people for the, and you might be like, Benedict, no, you, because I remember I made a video where I said we must abolish prisons. I'm like, what? I've never heard you say something so stupid. But when you think deeply about it, you have to understand that the real enemy is the system itself. It's not the people. People are being controlled and unsatisfied because of this, how the system is treating them. They're treated like slaves. And let's think about this, man. Think about this. In fact, let me know if you can use this example. But I want you to understand something that's very important. Life comes with no instructions. I want you to understand there are no instructions here. So let's say I make a lot of money through maybe manipulating people. And you make a lot of money through other people, but they're just giving you. You're not manipulating them. So maybe you have a talent and people give you money. Maybe you perform in the street, people give you money, and I make money through manipulation. You might say you're a good person, but you don't realize that maybe if you were in my shoes and you didn't have any talent, you do the same, maybe. If you were really that desperate for money. So you look at yourself and be like, I'm a good person because I'm not doing what this guy is doing. But in the end, everyone wants money. In the end, everyone wants freedom. In the end, everyone wants to be able to buy what they want. No one wants to be hungry, fighting for food, living in a messed up house, not having the things that they want. We all want things. So because life comes with no instructions, you find that people are doing what they can to make money. Even though you may not agree that it's a good way to make money, but you still have to agree that the real problem is that they need money, right? Because in this realm, money is needed. And if they can't make money, it's not like there's a way out, right? If they can't make money, they become miserable. So now they have a choice, is to make other people miserable and then make money. Oh, but you might say, but that's bad. But that's the thing. It's the system itself is bad. Life itself is bad. Because life allows these things. Life the same way that like a lion would kill and eat a zebra. That's what nature allows. So the lion has a choice. It can decide that, let me die of hunger. I'm tired of eating these animals. Or let me just kill a zebra and eat it. Do you get what I'm saying? So the real problem is that life itself is wrong, and it's not easy for conscious beings to be so strong that they do the right thing all the time. So that is why I'm saying what we need is understanding. What we need is to try to fix this realm if we can, but I don't think we can, and that's the problem, right? I think evil is the baseline of this realm. Everything is predicated upon something evil. Do you get what I'm saying? Even the things that we think are good are predicated upon something evil. I remember whenever I tell you this, I tell you that tell me one thing that you think is good and I will show you that it's predicated upon something evil. That is why there's a lot of suffering. That is why there's unfairness in the world. That is why no one is even talking about that. We pretend as if things not being fair is good, like it's just life. You know what I'm saying? People even say that life is unfair. Like, yeah, but you have 10 children. If you know that it's unfair, shouldn't you be like, maybe I shouldn't even be having children because this is so damn unfair. Like, I don't want to put my children through this. because there's nothing for them to like benefit, if I put them through this. So why should I? Like, and another thing that you must try to like another thing that you must try to understand is that if you're going to be a hypocrite, it will be very hard for you to understand this realm. If you're going to be a hypocrite, like you do things that you blame other people for doing, but because what you're doing it a bit differently, right? So you're a sinner, but you blame other people for other sins. You're not perfect, but you laugh at other people for their imperfections. It's like maybe you are perfect in some ways, but not perfect in some ways. So you laugh at others for being imperfect in a different way, right? When I watch videos of people getting sentenced, I I I feel happy that I'm not a judge. Like to be in a situation where you have to judge someone as if you are perfect, without realizing that you're just privileged. You're just waiting for the system, and the system is rewarding you for sentencing people. But yeah, you are a sinner. You did this, you did that, but you might also be sinning in your own ways. Like we know a lot of corrupt judges, like, and they're getting away with a lot. A lot of corrupt cops. I know a lot of people who like a lot of cops who kind of like forge things to get their family member out of trouble. So they are arresting people for doing bad things, but when their family members do bad things, they will try whatever they can, including breaking the law, to get them out. So you just hypocrite. What I'm trying to tell you is that the system itself is what's bad. It's what's wrong. It's not even people themselves, because people are trying to do what they can to avoid suffering at the end of the day, and no one wants to suffer. No one wants to sacrifice themselves. But like, yo, let me suffer for everyone else. No one is trying to be Jesus here. You know what I'm saying? And it wouldn't be easy because we don't got superpowers. At least Jesus had some superpowers. You know what I'm saying? Dude turn water to wine. For me to drink wine now, I gotta have some money to buy wine. So dude could just be like, let me just turn this water to wine. You know? You can make money appear out of nowhere. If there's only one bread, you can make sure that that one bread is gonna, be enough for everyone using his magic. We don't got that. He can heal the sick. If there are people in your life who are sick and you need money to take them to hospital, uh, Jesus didn't have to do that. He just had to pray and people will be healed. You know what I'm saying? He had superpowers, so him sacrificing himself, maybe he didn't even feel pain. This reminds me of this episode of South Park where they discovered that Jesus was high when he got crucified. So uh, he didn't suffer for us. He did die for our sins, but he didn't suffer for our sins because he was actually high. That made me laugh. But think about it: if Jesus was God, why would he even allow himself to suffer? He would just pretend to be suffering because you know what I'm saying. Like he can make himself not to suffer, so he would just scream when they're beating him and all of that. So I'm not Jesus, and no one is here. People suffer for real, so they're trying their best to, you know, they're trying their best to minimize their suffering. Because why will they want to suffer? They're not afraid of challenges. Like I told you, that human beings love challenges, but they don't want to suffer. So there's a difference between a challenge and suffering, right? And suffering doesn't build nobody's character, like I keep on telling you. It destroys it. It makes person less than what they are. They become very fearful. They stop having faith. And what do I even mean by faith? Like believing that things can work out for them, so they don't even try. I'm not talking about faith in God or anything like that. So you must really understand what causes people to do things that we consider to be wrong without judging. A lot of people who side with God and see him as uh, the representation of goodness, basically. uh, these people are very short-sighted, and they are hypocrites. They even judge people in their own lives. You find that someone is a pastor, they have children, and they're misjudging their children, and they're mistreating them because they don't understand them. You see, we've seen that happen a lot. You find that someone is a pastor, and they are misjudging their own kids. You know, they expect their kids to be like them, to think like them, to feel like them. You know, like, why can't you be like me? No, I can't be like you because I'm not happy acting the way that you act. You know, I don't want to wear some suits and all of that. I want to party, bro. I want to go out at night. That's what I want. You want to go to church and worship God. You're not doing that because you're a good person. You're not doing that uh, because you're trying to save the world or anything like that. You're doing that because you want to, right? You love that kind of lifestyle. You know, I remember I had a debate with this other Christian. I was like, you seem to actually love Christianity the same way that someone who's a Rastafarian, for example, would love the culture. You get what I'm saying? Like the dreadlocks, the way they talk, the way they walk, and all. Like, you just love that. It's not even, about loving God or anything like that. You love the way things are done in that religion that you believe in. So now you think you're good because you found a religion that says you're good if you believe in it, and it's something that you already love. You know what I'm saying? Imagine how hard it would be for someone who likes rap, who likes to party, who wants to speak their minds and all of that. Imagine how miserable they would be having to sit in church and listen to people lying. But you love that. You love listening to people telling you lies and manipulating you and all of that. But we don't. So if you have children and you understand that they don't like that and they cannot be like you will blame them and misjudge them and make them miserable because they're not like you. You see? You need to understand the one who is misunderstood. You need to open your eyes and your ears and pay attention to what they do and what they say. You will be able to see the real truth. I always felt like I was the devil's side of the story because growing up I was so misunderstood. And not because I was wrong. When I look back, I'm like, what was I actually wrong about? Because the things that people felt I was wrong about, especially the adults, they are seeing these things now. So they thought I was wrong because I'm a kid, because they don't have discernment really. They can't see things for what they are. They're very easy to manipulate. But I'm not. I wasn't. I was real since the beginning. There were some things that I was unable to see at the time because I was not doing enough work and I didn't know how bad things were. But I was real. To me, the truth mattered. That's why I used to ask the right questions. If you ask the right questions, then you find the right answers. But if you ask the wrong questions, you find the wrong answers and you believe these are the right answers, even if they are the wrong answers. Try to understand Kanye West. As crazy as this may sound, the one who's misunderstood. Try to understand that person. They might be dropping some truth bombs, but because that person is misunderstood and they're being diagnosed with all kinds of mental illnesses, you look at them and be like, nah. But you find out they're actually right. They're not lying. They are actually speaking the truth. And if you pay attention, you'll actually gain something when you listen to them. You see? So try to understand those who are misunderstood. Thank you all guys for watching until the end. Join the Discord server. We have a lot of fun there, and I appreciate the fact that a lot of people are joining. If you see someone posting something that shouldn't be on the say, just tag me so that person can be blocked. I will be the only moderator now because I want it to all work out this time. Like I told you that after go, like when I go live, we will also have a conversation. We'll go straight to the server and have a conversation. There's a lot that we can talk about, so feel free to join the server, and yeah, we will be having great conversations. Like the video, share the video, um, subscribe if you have not subscribed. Tell me what you thought about the video. Thank you.